Hello everyone, Tracy from the Wildlife Garden. Thought I'd do a little catch up. I haven't done one for a while. New plants are out. I'm going to show you some of the plants that the bees are really enjoying, especially the solitary bees. And bumblebees have quietened down a bit, but they tend to in my garden at the end of June. We have a bee's nest. I'll go up and show you where that is, but I'm not sure it'll be active now as it's 7:10 in the evening. Let's have a little stroll. And the first plant that's really been attractive to the wildlife, the solitary bees particularly, the leaf cutters, is this beautiful plant called knapweed. If you want wildlife in your garden, this is the plant to get. And in fact, there's a buff-tailed bee as I speak. It's too cool now for the solitaries, but the buff-tails thoroughly enjoying the knapweed. I've got knapweed spread about throughout the garden. If I see a solitary bee, I'll let you know. But I don't think I can see any at the moment, but there's definitely buff-tails still out, but bumblebees can cope with cooler weather. The honeysuckles have been gorgeous this year. Perfume is absolutely divine. And our yellow honeysuckle has just gone over. I meant to video that when it was in full blossom, but it's now gone over. But it is beautiful. Okay, this is the garden at this moment in time. Looking quite beautiful and full of colour. Excuse the rotary line out. The lavender is just about to burst. Not sure if we can see it because I'm filming into the light, but it is about to burst. So is the Joe Pye plant. Look at that. I did take quite a bit of it out last year, and so its height is much better this year, especially for us counting and recording. The cat's having a mad moment because I'm in the garden in the evening. Because we can record the bees better. There's a lovely little green bottle there. Can you see it? Enjoying the nectar. The other thing I want to show you, but I'm not sure whether the camera will pick it up, but let me come round the rose. Rose was absolutely stunning this year, this summer. But it's finished flowering now. It's my David Austin one. I can't remember the name of it, but it's been beautiful. Let me come through the gap. Oh, sorry, moth. I disturbed a moth there. These are our bee boxes, as you know. I keep saying I'm going to get rid of them, but every year they fill up, so I can't get rid of them. It's quite windy. Got my wind muff on, so on my mic, so I'm hoping it's not causing a problem. But you can't see them at the moment. But there are bees. The male bees are in these little bamboo cut-offs, and they're sheltering for the night. And they've been in here quite a bit today because it's been quite cool, and it's just lovely. They pop their little heads out, and it's just wonderful to see. And I'm hoping as we go up the garden, I'm going to be able to show you some sleeping bees in a flower. So let's go up the garden and see. The roses, although they finished on the David Austin, these ones are so red. Look at those. And the ones in the background there. Next to it is some knapweed due to burst. This allium comes up every year. Look at it. It's ridiculous. It's so tall. And it produces such a small head. It's just madness. But there you go. The astranthia has been lovely. So has the geranium, the pink geranium in the background there. It's all looking very lovely. On this side is the green side, really. We have got some lilies out. These are I've always called them tiger lilies. They were in the garden when I moved in. But I was told by my neighbour at the time they were called tiger lilies, but I don't think they are. I've never really looked at what they're called. Someone might know. But they used to be far more flowers than there are now, but that was when the garden was more open. There's a wasp here hunting or gathering nectar on the fuchsia. He's flown off now. And I've just heard one collecting wood, which has been lovely. I haven't been many wasps in the garden this year so far. Right, let's carry on up. There he is, there's the wasp. I think he's hunting because he's looking at different plants. The Japanese anemone is beginning to produce its buds. So hopefully that'll be in flower in another few weeks. The yellow loosestrife, more honeysuckle. This is a honeysuckle as well. It only has a tiny little pink flower on it, but it's finished now. Very attractive to the bumblebees. That's finished now though. Look at all these bits of like wheat growing in the garden. That's from the seeds that come out to the bird food. Here's the cat. She's so excited because we're never in the garden at this time of the night usually. More yellow loosestrife and a white astrantia. Next to that is a white buddleia just coming up. We have a rose, a climbing rose on the fence, and in amongst it is a blue clematis. It's just coming into bud. So that'll be open in a few weeks' time, hopefully. Then I'm going to cut it all back hard eventually. The roses are just finishing, as you can see. I need to do some deadheading here. Sorry, I'm shining into the light from pointing to the camera west where the sun's beginning to set, but you can see them there. They're not really useful to wildlife. I don't see any bees on them, but there you go. This mallow is self-seeded. This is the rowan tree, and look at the height of the mallow. It's ridiculous. It's self-seeded itself here, but it's been very busy with bees. I have cut the grass, the path grass. I've also cut, you can probably see that sort of lighter colour there behind the cat. The birds come down and feed because I feed the birds, and I was just a bit concerned because there's a feeder here. I only put sunflower hearts in it, and I was just a bit concerned it was too long and easy for, although my cat doesn't seem to hunt that much, and she does hunt, obviously she's a cat. I was a bit concerned that anything picking up seeds dropping from that feeder, it was too easy for her to pounce on them, so I've made it a bit more open there, and a little bit more open here. I'll move back. So the lighter patches are where there was long grass, but I've cut it since. The path sort of goes in that direction there. So just for the safety of the birds really. But I've still got long grass all along this edge. We've got one or two wildflowers coming up in it naturally. It's quite shady, so I don't expect anything much to come up. But the oxeye daisies are doing well in it. Carry on up. I'm trying to find this. This plant I'm going to show you now is called the Nettle bellflower, and I can see a bee now. It's either a scissor bee or it's a gold Melitta bee. Now if you look inside, if I can try and focus it, there's a dark patch there, and that's the bees, and it'll be the males sleeping inside the flower, and they'll sleep in there all night. See if I can focus it and zoom in. Let me zoom in. I know it's out of focus, and then see if we can focus it a little bit. Can you see that little bee inside? There might be two actually. Sometimes there's up to 5 inside. It's an absolutely vital flower for the scissor bee and these gold-tailed Melitta bees. The scissor bee is is our smallest bee. in the country. It is minute. I can't express how small that is. It's if I put my fingernail in front of the camera, if I can get it. I mean, this flower is small. You can see how small the flower is compared to my little nail. That's my little finger. Yeah, the scissor bees minute in comparison to the ones that are inside now. So if you can get these bellflowers, well worth it. It's going up. Rhododendron's finished now. That was covered in bumblebees earlier. I have trimmed the snowberry bush. It was getting rather tall. There's new berries appearing and the wasp is having a good hunt on it, but you can see the new flowers appearing. It's quite a substantial, hardy plant, and even when you trim it, it will reflower. Loved by the bumblebees. Here's more bellflower. This is what it looks like. You can see it here. Yeah, this is the nettled bellflower. Not sure if there's anything in these ones. I'll just have a quick look. No, there's nothing in that one. Nothing in that one. Sorry, I'm looking with my eyes and not with the camera. Nothing in that one, but yeah, there are some up and down the garden. These foxgloves have been absolutely loved by the bees. Beautiful foxglove. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. And I learned something new the other day about these. I'm not sure if I told you. Can you see inside that one? You can see the yellow at the top, the little where the pollen is stored. Well, that means the bees haven't visited that one. Whereas these ones, let me see, nearer the bottom, haven't got the yellow inside because, if you can see, it's sort of almost gone. The bees have been in there and pollinated them. Fab. Look at these these oxeye daisies are so tall. It's ridiculous how tall they can get. I'll pan round. These are my potatoes. They need pulling. But I'm getting potatoes delivered at the moment from Riverford, the organic supplier. Highly recommend them. Guy Singh, he's a great guy. Yeah, so I do get my potatoes delivered with my other veg from them, as I don't grow anything. I do grow a bit. So I grow potatoes, peas this year, carrots, tomatoes. I'll show you those when we go back down. The pond, I did have a clear out of the pond the other day. The oxygenator had absolutely filled the pond. It was so full, nothing could move around in it. I washed through it in rainwater about 5 times to make sure there was nothing left in it. I used buckets of rainwater, swish the plants about in it to release any insects in it, and then do it again the next day and the next day. So it takes a few days to clear it. But found some red worms and I found one tadpole, and yeah, so the pond hopefully is a bit easier for the tadpoles to swim about in that are left in there. Here's more bellflower. The raspberries, we've had a glut of raspberries. We're having them for breakfast every day. I'm doing my compote with raspberries. It's been fantastic. My husband's been picking them. These ones have almost gone. The white currants have been an abundance of white currants. They've all gone. We hardly had any red, but I think that was my pruning rather than not with the birds. Birds don't seem to take them here. Up into the wilderness now. You can see more raspberries here. These are the ones we've still to crop. And we must have had about 2 to 3 kilos of raspberries, I should think, easily. The raspberries have been great. The greater knapweed is just beginning to come out. The first flower opened today. So hopefully that will be all lovely with knapweed soon. We're going to have an abundance of blackberry, not blackcurrant. They seem to be doing really well again this year. Look at all the flowers in the background there. And over there, this is my nettle patch. I was trying to take the heads off the nettles the other day. What I do is I cut the flower heads off. I noticed some of the leaves are curled up, and inside there are some insects. They're not butterfly in there, but there are insects in there, moths I think. Let me show you them. So here's one here. See how they're curled up, and I'm going to open it, and you can see, if I don't want to disturb it too much, but have a little look inside. You can see, I think you can see, let me put my glasses on. I think you can see there's something inside. There you go, look. The nettles are so important for wildlife in the garden. I'll just snuggle that one down again. And there's several of the nettles curled up like that. Here's another one, and another one, and another one in the background. You can see them all curled up. Those curled leaves are the way the insects protect themselves excuse me, from predation. Let's move back. Compost bins. It's all got very wild in the wilderness. Up here, these flowers have closed their heads now. Very tall, they're about 4 foot tall. A lovely little yellow flower. The green alkanet has sort of gone over now. They cut some of that back yesterday. Some flowering. It will start its regrowth soon. Buddleias are just growing and ready to produce flowers. You can see some flower tips there. Mahonia. All the berries have been stripped at the top there. Those had black berries on. They've been stripped by the birds. An absolutely vital plant, as I've told you before in previous videos. My rhubarb is doing a second flush. It's in a pot, and I'm just amazed how it grows really. So I'll show you the pot. I put it in a pot because it was a young plant. Meant to plant it out. Put it up here and then forgot. I've moved my hawthorn. It was in this gap here, but it wasn't getting enough light, so I've moved the hawthorn to here. Hopefully it'll get more light there. It has got a few. It did flower this year, but not many flowers. I'm hoping it'll flower more next year. These are all damson trees, but I just keep them cropped to just above the fence height because I don't want them to get into great big trees. The pyracantha's got lovely berries coming on it. I'm going to go up to where the buff-tailed bee nest is now. Go up into the top dry. This is where all the dry hedge is. I have a dry hedge. Am I zoomed in? Let me zoom out. Sorry, I've kept it zoomed in, haven't I? I'll zoom out, and there isn't much room to walk up here now. It's just a path. And we have, I'm not sure it'll be active now because it's quite late, but in there, let me show you. Let me come down. Literally, that little gap there, let me point, there is where the buff-tailed bee nest is. They've been coming and going. There you go. Perfect. Coming and going throughout the day. They were quiet yesterday. It was colder yesterday, but they've been coming in and out today fine. That's our buff-tail nest. It's the only nest I've found this year. Last year we had cardinal bee last year? I think so. Look back on my previous videos. And a red-tailed bee nest. We've had tree bee nests. And this year I found a buff-tail nest. I have had those in the past, but it was before I did videos, so yeah, so dead hedges are great for them. I mean, obviously a mouse is nested in there. There's another one, and another one. Yeah, so obviously mice have nested in there, or we get rats up here. some kind of nest in there that's been suitable for the queen. I'm hoping that continues to be a healthy nest. Nothing else up here, just dead hedges everywhere. I thought I'd show you the distance. I don't know whether you can see in the distance. Let me zoom in a little bit. This little lovely area. In the background there, you can see a hill. Where those flats are, that's called Rowley Hill. It's quite a high hill, and it's part of it is owned by the Birmingham and Black Country Wildlife Trust. And yeah, it's a great hill to visit if you're in the area. We get marbled white butterfly up there. We get we get orchids, peregrine falcons, all sorts of buzzards, swift population up there. It's a fantastic little nature reserve, so I'm not too far away from that. And if we think where the flats are, sorry, that's my finger, I'm trying to point. So where the flats are and that row of houses, there's a railway line and a canal. So I think that all helps to add to the biodiversity that's in my garden. I'll zoom back out. So that's Rowley Hill Nature Reserve. And we'll go down the garden. There we go. It's the top of the hedge. I'm up a hill now. You'll see as I'm going down. Excuse me. Sorry, that was my son. He wanted to pinch a bun I got free from Lidl yesterday. Nice bun. He's let me have a bite and now he's going to heat it in the microwave. That's my son Tom. Right, we'll go down the wilderness and then I'll show you where I grow my little bit of food. It's not much. It's not really for us, it's for my granddaughter. I wanted to know that we can grow food in the garden. You know, that where food comes from. I'm just picking up a plant there, I didn't want to tread on. So now we're going to go through the arch. There it is, that's Montana, Clematis montana. Here are the raspberries. Beautiful. Let's see if I can find a nice one. Crowser. There's a nice one. Oh my goodness, gorgeous. A stilby that is in the background, that pink flower, if you're wondering what that is. I don't think it's, it's a blackbird disturbed. It's not, I don't see any wildlife on it. But it's pretty, but yeah, it's not essential to wildlife at all. I cut the rows back, I'm wondering why the birds are upset. There must be a bird of prey in the garden because the crows are going absolutely swooping everywhere. I'm wondering if there's a sparrowhawk around. Magpies too are joining in. Yeah, the rambling rose. It looked awful the other day, but those shoots are coming up again. I will have to trim those off, but all the sort of red leaves that you can see are the new growth that will hopefully flower next year. Right, let's carry on. I'll just have a stroll down. This is carrot. I've grown carrot this year. It's great for the bees, although I haven't seen much on it because it's been a quiet year for bees. Nigella there. They're all in an very old wheelbarrow. Needs topping up with soil yet again. They're doing a little second flush. Nigella, all the new growth coming on it, ready for next year. Just flowers. You have to imagine this is a long, narrow garden. So although it looks like that's their fence next door, it's not. There's a chain link fence that's our border. You see the chain link fence? And then if I pan across, there's our neighbour's wooden panel fence. My dead. I've got to cut that piece off. That's all going to be chopped off. There's some new growth there, but that's all. It's a broom, and it all died. We had in that very cold. Whoops, gone out of focus. Broom died in the cold weather we had, beginning of the year, the snow and that. I keep saying I'll chop it off, but the bed's quite deep. I don't want to trample on anything, so I'll get it off before the end of the year. So yeah, it's still a long, narrow garden. It's very, very long. So it is big. If it was square, it would probably be very big. But it's long and narrow, but I love it. It's just perfect for us. And this side is the green side, really, because as I say, it gets very, very little light. It's west facing, and with the fence, it gets very little sunlight now. It used to get lots of sunlight. This is my long grass patch where I hang my washing. That's where I watched the speckled wood laying eggs, so that's staying. I'm almost down by the shed. Hostas have been brilliant. As you can see, very little damage to them. In fact, none at all really. One leaf is damaged, but really that's it. I've got that one I'm going to remove from this pot. It's too cramped there. It's looking not very healthy. I'm going to put it in its own pot, although it's sent up a lovely couple of flower spikes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different hostas here, and they're all fine because underneath is gravel. So I find that I don't get any slug or snail damage. This is my little, it's the children next door, raised bed. We've got carrots, tomatoes, peas, and that's it really. I'll stop there because the children have all come back from mosque and are out to play. So that's it. Down to the house. That's the end of the video. We're under the canopy of the beautiful honeysuckle. Right, take care everyone. Hope you've enjoyed the catch up. Bye for now.